that's... Good morning, Universal Fight League fans. You know who it is. I do this every morning now like I said, until I have something real, I'm just going to give all my supporters something to support. So you guys have heard me tell the story of, how I knew Eminem, and because I'm from South Warren. Well, today I'm going to tell the story on how I got to hang out and party with 50 Cent. Okay, bet this was back in 2003 at Ford Field. There was no tour date. Get Rich or Die Trying had just dropped, okay, and which is my favorite album from 50 Cent. Okay, I mean, I like 50 Cent, I like all of it, but my favorite album, I think his best one, was Get Rich or Die Trying. That was one of those CDs I could just pop in and let bang, didn't matter what song it was. But my favorite song on Get Rich or Die Trying was Many Men. That was my favorite song. Sweet. Anyway, now that had just dropped, there was no tour date planned, and Eminem decided they're going to do one concert and one concert only in Ford Field. People flew from all over the world to be at this concert. Okay, now, being that, buddy my Mo works for Eminem, I was able to get tickets to the show. Dude, our tickets to the show, I had better seats than Chelsea freaking Clinton. That's how kind of seats we had. But the after party that we went to, what it was is 50 Cent was throwing an after party at the Rooster Tail in downtown Detroit. Well, he was selling them in packets of 10. And it was just me and the guy that showed me the converter business, Joe. Okay, it was just me and him that wanted to go. So Mo was able to get a hold of Paul Rosenberg, and instead of selling us 10 tickets, they was able to break up 2 and give them to us for $250 a piece, so we could go to the after party. And it was a great time. And now my buddy Joe I took with me. The reason this is important to the story, I want you to know something about this guy. Back then, in '03, he could take 455 pounds and do this with it. No problem. Well, anyway, you'll see why that's relevant later. So we go to the concert. Concert was awesome. We had a great time, and then we get to the Rooster Tail. Now, we pull in the park lot, we get up there, and there's 2 long, I'm talking these lines look like they were half a mile long. And it was 2 lines, so what I did, I kind of stood in the center of the line. It's where you could see all the way up front, and to this day, I don't know how the security guard seen me. She points at me, she's like, I was like, me? She's like, yeah, you, come here. So I grabbed Joe, and gotta say, it did feel cool. We're walking, we're cutting in front of it, and I'm talking, you guys, at least half, quarter mile long, we'll say, just to be realistic. But anyway, we get up to the front of the line, and security guard says to me, what are you doing here? I said, what do you mean, what am I doing here? I'm trying to get in the freaking club, man. Just went to concert, trying to get in the club. I got a VIP badge. She was like, I know you shouldn't even came in this entrance. You should have went around to the front. I'm like, why? What's this get me? Because it was a sticker that you put on, was the VIP identification. Anything you want, go on in. Well, we get into the Rooster Tail, and instantly, because of our VIP badges, we got like a guide or something, because all of a sudden we had this guide, walking us through the club, directing us towards VIP. And now that was the first time I've ever been in VIP with people of that high caliber. And literally, as soon as we walked through the glass, it was like, wing, different world. Like they were playing different music, everything. Well, anyway, there wasn't really anybody up there yet or anything, so we're walking around. I do a shot, all of a sudden walk around, and I see this guy leaning against a pole, and I'm looking, I'm like, it looked like Sway from MTV to me, right? I was like, no, that can't be Sway. So just to see if it was him or not, I went, Sway? He was like, yeah, I'm Sway. Like he was all happy that somebody recognized him, right? So I'm like, what's going on, man? We start kicking it. We're talking. All of a sudden, I hear in the background, what's up, 50? Let me get a hug. That was my buddy Joe that I told you guys about. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to say right now, right when you're further, hey, Sway, I'm sorry I dissed you at that party, but I completely dissed you, and I'm sorry, man. I instantly run over there, right? Completely forget about Sway. I walk up to see 50 Cent's bouncers try to stop me, puts his arms together, which is like, starts throwing these dudes off of him, right? So now 50 Cent's bouncers are afraid of them. So now, when I see this going on, I'm not up. I can see them, but there's a whole crowd in front of me. I'm trying to make my way through. So now, by the time I make my way up to the front of the crowd, 50's standing there. He's got his arm around my buddy. They're snapping pictures. You know what I'm saying? He's got like my buddy's got like a $10,000 diamond hanging off his ear. Dude had lots of money at the time. Well, anyway, I make it to the front. He sees me. He grabs me, pulls me like over. That was the first time, because usually me, I'm the type of guy that's never short on words. That was the first time in my life I didn't know what to say. I'm standing right in front of him. I'm like, I don't know what to say. All of a sudden, he was just like, "What's up, man?" He sticks his hand out, and I'm telling you what, 50 Cent, his hands are like this freaking big. When I shook his hand, it was like his hand completely engulfed all the way up to my elbow and shit. Like, here's my hand, 50's hand's like this is 50's hand. That's how big his hands are. Well, anyway, he shakes my hand. I told him, hey, I love, the album. I told him my favorite song was Mini Man. He's like, thanks, man. We were standing right in front of the bar. So he's like, come on, man. So he starts buying us drinks. Well, we do a couple shots, about maybe half hour goes by. I forget that he's 50 Cent, and I just got done watching him perform at Ford Field, an hour or two ago. Well, anyway, he says to me and my buddy Joe, he says, oh yeah, I gotta get introduced. Come on, man. So all of a sudden, we start walking. 50 Cent's got an arm around me. He's got his arm around my buddy Joe. And then there's this whole entourage walking around us, right? Well, anyway, we start walking. We come to these two glass doors. They open the glass doors. We walk out in the balcony, and we look down, and we see the club. Okay? Now, I swear, we must have been standing there for a good 2-3 minutes before anybody in the club noticed us, right? All of a sudden, people looked up or something or seen us, and dude, I'd never seen anything like that. This place goes insane, right? 50 looks at me, he says, hey, watch this. Well, he tells me, right? Okay, now, down the balcony, there's stairs, right? He was going to go try to mingle, right? Dude, now people start climbing over top of people. People are fighting and just scratching and clawing, just trying to get at this dude, right? And so the Detroit police come running because they were in there. They told him, no, you can't go down any further. And anyway, so they start leaning over, pouring, which he had the biggest bottle of Moet I've ever seen, pouring in people's drinks. And then all of a sudden, he looks up at me, he winks, we start kicking. So I'm drunk at this time, right? So I shut the club down. I screamed as loud as I could when he looked up at me. I was like, G-Unit. And it was like one of the big then everybody started screaming and going crazy again. Well, anyway, so now 50 comes back up to VIP because Detroit police sent him up there. Now, he kind of leaves us for a second. Now, at that point, when I did sway, I know I must not have seen everything that happened, because all of a sudden, Young Buck come walking up. At the time, this is how I found out who Young Buck even was from this night. Okay, he comes walking up, right? We see him from way down this aisle or whatever. He comes walking up. My buddy Joe was like, Young Buck. I look like, how the hell do you know who that is? You know what I mean? Well, anyway, he's standing there. We're just kicking it. And I remember, dude, you guys remember when you used to have that big medallion? Well, I swear to you, that medallion was like this big around. No exaggeration. And I'll bet you it weighed 6 pounds. Easily. Anyway, I grabbed it in my hand. I'm like, damn, dude, I could fuck you up with this thing. He says, I doubt it. I said, I know, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding. But anyway, we start kicking it. Now, there's one spot in VIP that you still can't go where it was 50 and Young Buck ended up sitting at their table, right? Well, anyway, my buddy Joe, I told you about that restaurant. They had this one big dude. I'm talking, my man had arms like this on both sides. You just looked like a beast, right? He's standing there on guard. My buddy Joe walks up, puts his hand on this dude's shoulder, and literally threw him out of the way like he wasn't nothing. And like I said, this dude's arms were bigger than my head. And like I said, they were all afraid of him. So next thing I know, we're sitting at 50 cents in Young Buck's table, right? Well, something, you know, I mean, I asked him if he wanted to smoke. I'll tell you guys anyway. I asked him if he wanted to smoke one. He says, yeah, light it up. I was like, let's go to your limo or go outside. He's like, no fucks given. He lit up right then and there. And I was like, damn. So that's the first time I'd ever smoked in public like that. Well, anyway, we ended up kicking it the rest of the night. And then toward the end of the night, he gave me his big bottle of Moet, right? And he signs it for me. You know, I was proud of that bottle, you know what I mean? But dude, there was so many stars up there. Ben Wallace was there. Kenny Olson was there. We ended up hanging out with Kenny Olson a lot that night, too, as well as 50 Cent. And everybody was so cool there. And by the way, I want to say thanks to Kenny Olson. He saved my life that night. That's all I can say about that. I couldn't figure out how these stars kept up because I started getting hazy drunk, and I started drifting away from the crowd because I didn't want to embarrass myself, and Kenny Olson brought me back. Thanks, brother. I really appreciate that. And only Kenny Olson knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, we ended up all hanging out the rest of the night. I got to walk through the club, and everybody there thought I was part of 50 Cent's entourage. Like, I was some rappers. I went with it. You know what I mean? Had a great time. And dude, like I said, so I don't know what your opinion is about him, but my opinion is the night that I got to hang out with him, he was cool as fuck. I mean, literally cool as hell, dude. I mean, paraded me all around, just like Mayweather did with me at the Hall of Honors. Like, I don't know, we became friends, and he was cool as hell. That's the best way I can describe how he was. And that was the funnest night going out to the club I've ever had in my life. Because I was treated like royalty by everybody because I was there with 50 Cent. It was awesome. And that's my 50 Cent morning runtime this morning. I do got actually something to talk about, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow morning's Universal Fight League runtime. And like I keep saying, I just got to keep talking about these videos right here and give you guys something to support until this coronavirus is over and I can actually start planning and building the type of events I want to do. And because of my 2,282 subscribers, I'm going to keep on grinding for you guys, and I'm going to build this YouTube channel into something awesome. And you guys are all going to say I helped build the Universal Fight League. That's this morning's runtime. Till the next video, love you, peace.